Good morning. This is Court Proceeding 5567-1. Chris Williams versus Octavia Williams. Please state your name for the record.
Octavia Williams.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
Chris Williams.
Today we're going to determine split of assets and temporary custody of minor children. Mrs. Williams, will you be representing yourself today?
Yes.
You do understand it is in your best interest to have an attorney.
Yes. I could not afford it, Your Honor.
Do you understand that the matters today, once they are determined, will be final, with the exception of custody? You understand that, Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Let the record show that Mr. Williams and his attorney has submitted documentation to support their claims. Mrs. Williams is going to be representing herself, and the court has not received any documentations on her behalf. Mrs. Williams, generally, I hear opening statements from the plaintiff. I'm going to allow you to give your opening statement first to see what, in fact, you have to say on your behalf prior to plaintiff counsel. Do you have an opening statement, Mrs. Williams?
No.
With that being said, it was brought to the attention of the court that Mr. Williams was the breadwinner in the household and the majority of the assets were purchased by him. Is that true?
I mean, he did everything. He the one maintained the bills and stuff, so
Okay.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Counsel for the defendant, opening statements, please.
Your Honor, my client is being more than generous by asking that the assets be split in half.
Mrs. Williams, do you understand what counsel is asking?
Yeah.
So, do you have any objections to this?
No.
Counsel, other than the residence that Mr. and Mrs. Williams shared together, is there any other properties in question here today?
No, Your Honor, there are no other properties, only the assets within that property.
Mrs. Williams, at any time you have the right to object to anything that's being said that you do not totally agree with. Okay?
Okay.
Counsel, are there any liens on the property in question?
No, Your Honor.
Mrs. Williams, any of your personal properties that is at their residence, you have the option to remove prior to.
Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Williams, since you did not come with an attorney and you did not provide documentation to support any claims, we're going to have to go with the plaintiff's documentation. Along with market value of the home, we have estimated appraisals for the items within the home, bringing the total of split to $105,000. Now that we have determined that, we must determine temporary custody of the children. Mrs. Williams, who is the children's father?
He's their father.
And what say you to custody?
I mean, at this point, I'm not fighting that. If that's what he want, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, I don't even have, because I had to move from the house, I don't have anywhere to house them, so, if he wants them, he can have them.
Do you understand how that sounds to the court?
Well, I'm just saying. I ain't trying to make it sound like nothing. I'm just saying.
Okay, so what are your feelings on custody?
I mean, whatever you say.
Mr. Williams?
Your Honor, she never shows any interest in the kids. I mean, she's always gone here, there, out clubbing. I basically take care of those children. When they're not with me, they were with her mother or at daycare. She spends very little time with them and haven't even come over to see them since they've been with me.
Mrs. Williams, what do you have to say to that?
I've been busy. I went past there one time and dropped off some stuff to them.
So basically, Mrs. Williams, you are offering some financial support for the children.
No, Your Honor, she's not. I mean, she took clothes and shoes and sold them. She's not
I
offering no
mean,
support.
I had to use money. You ain't even have to bring all of that
It
up.
is what it is.
Mrs. Williams, you sold the kids clothes and shoes?
I replaced it.
Seriously.
Yeah, I replaced it. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. They got it back, didn't they?
Mrs. Williams, you seem very agitated as if you don't want to be bothered with the proceedings here today.
I'm cool.
You're cool.
I mean, cause I don't really understand all of this. All of this. I don't really get it. But whatever, whatever. You know, whatever he want, that he can have whatever. I just don't. I don't really have time for it right now. It's a lot going on in my life right now.
So you don't have time to deal with issues that concern your
I mean,
children.
I ain't saying I ain't got time for the kids. I'm just, all the extra stuff.
And what is extra stuff?
It's just the extra stuff.
Right. Okay, moving beyond the extra stuff. Mrs. Williams, did you file a claim for child support against Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, the court is going to take the liberty to determine paternity and temporary custody here today.
Okay.
So, paternity tests have been done on both minor children. We have DNA from both parents, and what we're going to do is determine paternity and give temporary custody, and then come back to award permanent custody of the children. Mrs. Williams, is that cool?
Okay.
And Mr. Williams, are you in agreement with this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Paternity for female child in question is conclusive. Mr. Williams, you are the father.
Okay.
Paternity for male child in question is inconclusive.
What? What? No!
Mr. Williams,
What?
you are not
No!
the father.
What you mean? What you mean that's not my son? That's my son. What you mean that's not my son? What? What?
Mr. Williams,
No,
Mr.
no!
Williams.
No! What? What? That's my son! What you
Order in the
talking about?
court.
That's not my
Order in the
son!
court.
That's my son! That's my son! You, God, I can't believe you! I can't believe you! I can't believe you was doing
Mr.
this! Oh
Williams,
my God!
Mr.
Oh my
Williams.
God! That's my son, man! That's my son! That's my son! You tramp! You whore! You, man, I can't. Oh God!
Order in the court. Order in the court.
That can't be
That's my
right.
son! That's my son! That's my son!
No.
God! That's
Mrs.
my
Williams,
son!
do you know who the child's father is?
That's son, man! That's my
I
son!
don't know.
That's my son! That's my son! That's my son!
Counsel, maybe you should take Mr. Williams out of the courtroom. I'm going to call a recess so that Mr. Williams can have a moment to process the information. I'm going to call a recess. We're going to go for an hour, and we're going to report back to the courtroom at 1100 hours.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you so much. We hope to be in a better state at that point, at that time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mrs. Williams, the court is going to allow you to speak on your own behalf. Who is the minor male child in question's father?
Um, I don't know.
I'm sorry. So you're telling the courts that you don't know who the biological father
I don't
is
know whose
of the
father
male
he is.
child in question.
I just know Chris.
Well, obviously, Mr. Williams is not the child's father. So we need to establish paternity for this child.
I mean, that's all I know.
So what I'm seeing is a mother who acts as if she doesn't want the children, but doesn't want to help the courts establish paternity.
I mean, it ain't like I don't want my kids. I just can't do nothing for them right now.
And this is why it's vital that we establish paternity for both of the children.
Your Honor, may my client speak, please?
Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, I'm all that little boy know. I'm all he know, and I, I I'm I've been raising him, and I'm gonna keep on raising him, Your Honor. Please.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
So the courts have been put in a situation where we have to decide now what is best for the child. Do you understand what that means, Mrs. Williams?
Yes, I understand.
So, Mrs. Williams, before we make a determination on temporary custody for both children, let me just say that as the mother of these children, I strongly encourage you to make every attempt and effort to get yourself together so that you can adequately care for your children.
I mean, I try. I've been looking for a job. I've been looking for a job so I can get my own place.
Mrs. Williams, if you would like to take advantage of the services that the court offers, there are various services that will help you to get the resources that you need so that you can transition yourself.
Okay.
In closing, counsel, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, Your Honor. On behalf of Mr. Williams, we just want to express um, our appreciation for your consideration in this matter. Um, we do hope that you see that Mr. Williams is the best fit for the child. We ask that you please do not separate the children, um, and that you allow Mr. Williams the opportunity to prove himself before the courts, to care for the child, even given the current circumstances.
Mrs. Williams, what would you say about Mr.
He's a
Williams?
great father. He's a great father.
Okay, I see. If it was the court's decision to award temporary custody to Mr. Williams, would you be in agreement with that, Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
So with that, the courts will make a decision.
Okay.
So at this time, it is the ruling of the court to award temporary custody to Mr. Williams, temporary custody of both minor children. Mrs. Williams, are you okay with that?
Yes. Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
That's both children.
Yes, you are.
And you're sure?
Yes.
Okay, it is so ordered. Counsel, do you have any questions? Any comments? Is there anything you would like to say? Anything you would like to add? Mr. Williams?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. We're pleased with your ruling. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, good, wonderful. Mrs. Williams, a word of advice. As a parent, our first priority is our children. Let that be food for thought for you.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Williams' divorce proceedings will be continued. Court is adjourned.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.